Africa is home to over 50 million orphans. People often ask what they can do for these children. At ZOE, we ask a different question. What do these children need to help themselves?
There's a place for relief work. When you have an earthquake that strikes and people's lives are thrown into disarray overnight, relief work is the proper response. But 5 years down the road, if those same people are receiving the same services, there has to be some kind of failing in that model.
At some point, relief will end. That person needs to learn to provide for himself.
When people are living in abject poverty in a long-term way, ZOE is trying to provide an avenue for them to help get themselves out of that situation.
Where I was, it is not where I am now. My siblings, I can take them to school. I can buy for them a uniform, shirt, and food. I'm going to step another step more than where I am now.
ZOE is an orphan empowerment program working to break the cycle of poverty across Africa. You take orphans within 3 years and you empower them. They are able to provide for themselves. They provide for their siblings and even the community. And this is the way forward for the rest of the community.
ZOE goes into the communities to give them support and foundation that family would usually provide. Looking at their background, they are isolated. They lost their parents, and coming together, it's a new social structure that plays a role of a family.
Most programs that I've seen concentrate on one or two areas of poverty. They do feeding programs, or they do education, or they do medical missions. But what ZOE does is it focuses simultaneously on all the things that hold these orphans in poverty. When you're caring for your own children, you try to come around them in a way where they can someday take care of themselves. Why should our mission to other children be any different?
When we talk of empowerment, ZOE program empowers orphans in different areas. And one of them is to ensure that they are food secured. So we train them on how to grow crops that are appropriate within that community. How to keep animals like chicken, goats.
These children will be equipped with skills such as running small businesses so that they can find their own source of food or source of income to meet their daily needs. They are also helped to form groups.
Each orphan has slightly different needs, but what ZOE does in grouping them together is to allow the group to help one another to meet these needs. These children begin to understand what it means to live in a family.
We train them on health and disease prevention. We tell them the symptoms, the cause of disease, and teach them the way of prevention.
These children need to understand the basics of what it means to keep their bodies and their homes and their families healthy.
Some of these orphans have lost their parents as a result of HIV/AIDS, and we need to empower them to ensure that they don't get the disease. They share the same information with the rest of the community so that we can mitigate the impact of this virus.
Often these children come from an environment where they're sick and they're dirty. Occasionally they might steal food in order to feed their siblings. Sometimes they feel more like dogs than human children. And when you see these orphans come into their first ZOE meeting, and you can see these children who felt isolated begin to understand that there's others who share their same difficulties and that they're not alone.
We have a forum where we expose them to the love of God. We don't force them to be Christians. but it's a free will.
There's strength in knowing that they are part of a group where they're not judged, but they are loved and accepted for who they are. ZOE also helps these orphans to be prepared to provide for their siblings and their families.
Children are prepared so that they can reach their own potential and also find their place in the community that respects them, and they're able to see them as partners for development.
Orphans who have begun to start businesses and see profits from their own businesses will then go out and adopt other orphans into their group and help mentor them in how to do their own businesses. It's not unusual in the third year of the program for a group of orphans to have doubled in size because of these other orphans that they're bringing into the program and teaching how to transform their lives. Sometimes they become employers in their village and have other people working for them. They become leaders in their communities. They become leaders in their churches. They become entrepreneurs in their area and begin to lift the entire village with the work that they're doing.
My hope is that this model is going to be implemented across this country because it's a unique model. It is working. It's cost effective, and it is transforming the lives of many orphans.
At some point, people will stop asking, what can I have? And we start asking, what can I do? Or even better, what can we do together? There is no program that is going to save the world. But if we can change the way people think about helping others, it could mean the world to the millions saved.